All right, and welcome back to another half edition of the Wrestler's Dozen. I am Randy,
David.
and it is October, so we have to go along with the gimmick of Halloween because we think outside the box here on the show, and we're going to do the top 6 creepiest gimmicks.
Mm-hmm.
And they've had some creepy gimmicks in wrestling, just both weird or horror based, or the Shockmaster.
Yeah.
That was terrible. It wasn't creepy.
Vince McMahon and Trish Stratus.
Not that kind of creepy.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe.
Yes.
We'll get to there. All right, let's start it off with a creepy gimmick from the early 90s. Was this guy Papa Shango? Most of you guys will know him as Kama. No. Nobody will know him for as Kama. He was also the Godfather, and that's as he has still known. But he was Papa Shango for a while. Was the whole voodoo thing. Was it Warrior? He had to have black stuff come out of his mouth.
Made him barf.
That's a weird dude to do that kind of a promo with, because Warrior just was an interesting person.
Yeah.
What did you think of Papa?
He scared the crap out of me as a kid. I remember a couple of the jobber things, like the lights went out and suddenly his feet were on fire, or the hand was on fire, and all that, the black stuff too. He scared the crap out of me. I don't even know if he had a match with Warrior was a thing. I remember they had their stuff, but yeah, it was just crazy gimmick. I think his biggest moment was WrestleMania because he blew a spot.
I was gonna say he didn't have a match with Warrior because he blew that spot.
Yeah.
Also could not do the magic to get him down there faster.
No.
We'll talk about that some other day. Yeah. I think. I didn't watch wrestling as much back then, so it didn't really hit me as much. So we might debate where he ranks, just because I don't have the childhood memories. But definitely that over-the-top character you remember from the early 90s of WWE. Let's go with Mankind. This one is going to be an interesting one because a lot of people remember Mankind later on when he was Vince McMahon's lackey and brought in the hardcore title and Have a Nice Day. And then Mankind kind of just morphed into what Mick Foley was.
After the video montage or interview with Jim Ross.
Mm-hmm. it just, because you had Cactus Jack and Dude Love and Mankind, and then there was the Mankind character that was humanized throughout some of these storylines. So he just kind of became Mick Foley and wasn't as creepy. But his opening vignettes where he's petting a rat and coming out there with really somber music to win, and then had this piano music when he won, which is always weird. We always did interviews in the Boiler Room where he had that match too. He makes a list for that reason. Yeah,
he played the character well, and obviously a gimmick like that has to evolve, and he evolved it right. It didn't try to make it darker or anything, or like Bray Wyatt at first. I loved him, then he got ridiculous, and I think Mankind could have done that if he tried to stay in that same zone. It's like, what are you talking about? I don't care. Just wrestle and do something. Okay, you're not even wrestling anymore. All right.
All right, let's bring up one that he's had so many iterations, and so many people have played this character.
Yeah.
But Doink the Clown, and the version we're talking about is, I think it was the first iteration of Doink the Clown, where he was a legit evil clown. It wasn't just, ooh, clowns are creepy, we're being funny. No, he came out, he was like just that psycho guy that was kind of like Hugh Morris, I think, where he would laugh and then just stare at you and be really creepy about it, and was a bad guy. Obviously, most people remember his one match with Crush at WrestleMania 9, where then they had the doppelganger one, and then that's when they started getting a little weird with it. But I think him during the build-up was fantastic.
Yeah. I think it was good foreshadowing in the promo for that too, though. He's like, at the end of the match, press we see in double vision, and sure enough, the other Doink comes out. But he creeped me out a bit as a kid too. I remember he started off all I'll prank certain guys, and that's it. And then when Crush twisted his arm, and he goes to shake it, and then the arm comes off, and it's the cast and beats the crap out of him with it. that angle worked back then, and started that character off well. I think he was even the court jester for Lawler in that match with Bret Hart, SummerSlam. That was actually pretty dang good. Doink and Bret, watch it. Never thought I'd say that.
But you did.
Yeah.
Doink and Jerry Lawler at Survivor Series. Don't watch it. All right, next up. You're just talking about Jerry Lawler. It worked out. Isaac Yankem DDS, who is Jerry Lawler's dentist, needed to see a dentist himself. Better known as the Real Diesel.
Yep.
Or Kane. He was Kane. It's funny that these creepy gimmicks turned into something different. All of them.
Yeah.
Doink probably turned into something that I don't know. But yeah, he came in just for a little bit. Had terrible entrance music, but it was just drilling of teeth just to make you more uncomfortable. And again, he's like 7 feet tall. They put out these weird prosthetic teeth in that were just awful, and those weird glasses that had the flip over magnifying part to it. And
yeah, it's gotta be Kane. But yeah, the entrance music's the worst for me. I hate the dentists myself a lot because dentists are stupid. They're doctors who failed doctor school.
Aww.
Well, that was on Seinfeld, I think. I ripped him off.
Okay.
But yeah, the short time I lived, it was creepy. Like the entrance alone, and even though he was obvious fake teeth, but it was just gross looking. But
it's crazy how fast he changed gimmicks. I just thought about that. He debuted as Kane in like '97. I want to say this happened 95, maybe 96.
Yeah, because he was fake Diesel for a spell.
And that was the beginning of '97 where he was fake Diesel because he was in that Royal Rumble in '97. Yep. Or was that 90?
That was 97.
Yeah, 97.
That's my Rumble knowledge. I'll knock
out
that one.
Things just mix up in my head.
Yeah, I guess it was him and Austin and Rock and Funk and Mankind and Vader and Brett all at the end. And it's like, that's a Hall of Fame. And only 3 of them were really big at the time. Anyways.
Right, let's move on to the Boogeyman. Speaking of teeth.
Yeah.
Boogeyman was obviously missing the front parts of his. Better known for his tough enough appearance where he lied about his age. He said he was 10 years younger than he was. I want to say said he was like 34 and he was 44 or something.
Jack for his age.
Oh, yeah. And did a great job. He would have made that show if he didn't lie. But they gave him this gimmick and he ran with it for a long time and still comes back for certain cameos. And does it extremely well. I know most people just know him for the eating of worms and stuff, but the whole entrance was fantastic. He just sold himself into this gimmick. I know it kind of happened in the 2000s where we're kind of desensitized from this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, put him in the days of Papa Shango, and he would crush Papa Shango as far as creepiness goes. So that's why I like him so much. He might not get remembered as being something special, but he was great.
Yeah, I've enjoyed him a lot. I guess, rumor has it, when he first debuted, it was in the UK, and it was an outdoor arena, and during his entrance, lightning struck. And I guess it was probably would have been the coolest visual if anyone had a camera rolling, but they didn't. But for some reason, I remember most with his gimmick when he feuded with JBL. Like, JBL acted not afraid, but JBL's walking around the ring, looking around. Get backed away, went around the ring, looked at the other side of the ring, just petrified. But yeah, that was my ringtone too. Actually, it was the Boogeyman.
Just coming to get you.
On the Boogeyman. No.
Yeah, and I think that's what made the Boogeyman work, because the other wrestlers weren't afraid to sell his gimmick and act afraid. Booker T was perfect with it too. King Booker at the time, and of course Boogeyman remembered as fixing Jillian Hall's face.
Finally.
Just look it up if you don't know what that is. And finally, the one that you threw it on your list.
Yeah.
We're coming up with nominees. And I laughed for 10 minutes and then went, no, she makes it. Defend this, sir. Mae Young.
That's all I have to say is Mae Young. Like when she came back and just wanted to try to be as gross as possible. But obviously the Royal Rumble, that whole ordeal, and the Mark Henry thing. Like,
I hope they finally have edited that. Yeah. I've never gone back to try to look. If you don't know what that is, if you're a young kid, Royal Rumble 2000. That was New York, right?
Yeah.
I had a party at my house We watched the Rumble. There's like, so we're 16 at the time, 15 or 16 depending on when your birthday fell. And there's like 5 or 6 of it at our house, and it's a bikini contest. So you have all of these beautiful women coming out in skimpier and skimpier and skimpier bikinis. And a friend of mine scooted all the way up. He was maybe 2 feet from the screen. And then Mae Young comes out. And she has a whole one piece on or whatever, and just the old lady bikini. And you thought that's
in the air.
That's fun. it's funny. And then she went, all right, now you get to see my puppies. And the censor was not fast enough as she let them out.
Yeah.
And you got to see them on TV, and my friend no longer was near the front of the TV. It was a great time. She's someone that, like, I don't know a lot about, like, her actual personality. We've heard a lot about Moolah.
Yeah.
But with Mae Young, I hope she's, like, the sweetest person in real life, like outside out of character.
She was just game for anything.
Like super grandma mode, and then she goes out there and just goes, screw it. I'm just going to do whatever the hell I want because I'm 80 and I don't care.
Rumor has it there were prosthetics that she wore over herself even, which I hope is true. To get away.
I'm not going back to find out.
Yeah, like I think to get around, like there's kids in the audience, they could say it was fake.
And for an 80-some-year-old woman, she took a power bomb from the Dudleys through a table.
Yeah. She
did not care. But as far as creepy goes, she was a creepy old lady.
Yeah, I wanted to change the channel sometimes just because I didn't know what was going to happen. I was like, all right, I'm a wrestling fan, but if my mom walked in, I don't know how I could explain this.
Right. There's a lot of video game moments like that. That could be a whole different list.
Yeah.
All right, let's rank these 6 completely different kinds of creepy.
Yeah.
And that's why I like this topic. Okay, I'm going to make something controversial right now.
Okay.
I think Mankind's 6th.
Yeah. I think so too, actually.
He was creepy at the beginning.
Just not long enough.
It wasn't long enough, and then he became a cutesy character.
And even as a tag team with Vader, I mean, that wasn't even long after his debut. It's like
and it wasn't even creepy at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, he was still pulling out hair and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think the same thing goes for Doink.
Yeah.
He's mostly remembered as being a cutesy, over-the-top clown.
He was only a heel. I don't think it lasted a year.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, it wasn't because WrestleMania 10, he was feuding with Bam Bam, with Dink.
Do we do the same thing for Isaac Yankem at this point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
longevity.
All one needs.
Just longevity. So, Papa Shango, the Boogeyman, and Mae Young are our top 3.
Yeah. I think Mae Young, is 3rd. Just because
she's creepy in a different kind of creepy. And I will say, for anyone wondering, The Fiend or the new Bray Wyatt will probably end up on this list if we ever redid it again. It's still new.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I didn't put Bray Wyatt on here either, is because to me he's still evolving and still changing.
Yeah.
So, a creepy character for sure, and I hope they go to the moon with that guy. But for now, not on the list. So, Papa Shango and Boogeyman, I have my answer. What's yours?
I have the Boogeyman number 1. Just good. Like, yeah, it was above our time to where we could be creeped out by him, but he owned the gimmick and the entrance. Even when he comes back, the crowd pops for him down those Raw reunions and stuff. Just gotta have the clock and the worms, and boom, we're set.
And I think with a lot of these guys, he's went more the comedy angle than anything, because really we're not going to get creeped out by somebody eating worms 10 years after he started. But like you said, his rivalry with JBL was great. King Booker was great. He made a WrestleMania doing that.
Was it a mini Booker and mini Boogeyman at some point too?
We don't talk about that. Back in those kind of gimmicks. Where everyone had their own little mini-me.
I think I did my career on SmackDown versus Raw as the Boogeyman. I liked him so much. Just so I could see his entrance every time.
So there you go. Short and sweet. The top 6 creepiest gimmicks. Run down again. Mankind, Doink the Clown, Isaac Yankem, DDS, the wonderful Mae Young, Papa Shango, and the Boogeyman is our creepiest gimmick. Let us know what we missed, who you thought. Where do you think The Fiend will end up on this list? Does he end up number 1 by the end of it? possible.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Or nails.
Who were some of the... We had a few others that we had to cut.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember them now, too.
I wish I would have deleted the cut ones. Waylon Mercy.
Oh, yeah.
But he lasted like a month.
Yeah.
But he's super creepy. Just awkward.
I couldn't even think of it.
Rapey, I think, is the best way to say Waylon Mercy.
Very true.
Rapey. Just too much.
None of the Dungeon of Doom even got consideration, I don't think.
No, because that was hokey.
Yeah.
The whole time. The Zodiac. Or... What was Earthquake?
Shark.
Shark, yeah.
Shark attack.
Stupid. So bad. It's so bad.
But it read The Big Show, so.
That's true.
Yeah.
We're totally going to give Kevin Sullivan credit for that. Kevin Sullivan was another. I think we gave an idea to, but I thought he was a good bad guy, but not as far creepy.
Mm-hmm.
So next week, we'll be back for another full episode. Like, share, comment, do all of the wonderful YouTube stuff, and subscribe, of course, please. That would be great. So for David, I'm Randy, and we will see you next Wednesday.